Instruction.
Konnichiwa, minasan. Hello, good afternoon. I'm Youngkeun Song. Firstly, I'd like to thank you, and I appreciate especially for for having me and to the Professor Kohsaka. And I remember we have good memories in SNU. And so, anyway, I am very glad to see you all. And my topic of today is towards a safe and healthy urban green infrastructure, a case study from Korea. Just a minute, just a minute. Okay. Okay, firstly, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm leading my lab, name of the Landscape and Ecological Planning Lab. And my research background is landscape ecology, biodiversity, habitat conservation, ecosystem restoration, like that. And as Professor Kosaka introduced, I studied in Kyoto University, and I work with many Japanese and colleagues, absolutely including Nagoya University. And yes, that is my background. So, firstly, I'd like to introduce a little bit about some information related to the COVID-19 of Korea. The Google announced an article on the more than 100 countries situation after the COVID-19, and they shows the number of visits on some depending on the places. So in Korea cases, in Korea, people more than 50% of Korean people visit in parks than the before the COVID-19. So it is very important the green spaces in this COVID-19 situations ages. And more than that, Korea government announced that the Korean New Deal in this July, and is very huge amount of money will be invested to recover this kind of economic crisis because of the COVID-19. So it is more than $17 billion. I think 7兆円ぐらいです。とんでもないお金が。ね So we have two strategies. One is a digital New Deal, and second one is Green New Deal. And those two strategies are mixed or coming together. So this kind of New Deal strategy is not far from our research field. So more specifically, Smart Green City project will be started from this year, and the first stage will be invested by 2022. So the huge the investigation will be performed in the name of a smart green city. So we have many cities problems, so cities environmental problems because and this smart green city project is led by Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Environment. So more specifically, Ministry of Environment have 10 sectors, and they promote this kind of smart green city, including this kind of 10 sectors. Firstly, it's a climate resilience. Climate resilience, some technologies or adaptation planning related to the climate change. And second and third one is about the water security, water safety, water cycle. But I think we say the LID, low impact development or ecosystem-based adaptation will be included this kind of first, second, and third one categories. And first one is future mobility, and fifth and sixth is fifth one is waste resource recycle. For example, reduce, recycle, and reuse movement is included in this sector. And sixth and seventh one is very familiar. We are familiar with these topics. Ecological restoration and ecological recreation is one of the major part of the smart green city. And eighth one is clean atmosphere. So in Korea, we are suffering from some data, air quality issues. So eighth one is very important. And ninth one is environmental education. I think environmental education can cover all of the other sectors. So anyway, we are developing this kind of 10 sector 10 sector technologies and 10 sector solutions in the name of a smarter city. And these kind of projects, we expect this kind of project will be one of the solutions for recovering the economic crisis because from the COVID-19. And I'd like to remind of you why we should this kind of works or the ecosystem restoration works or ecosystem planning works in the city. So in the world, the city urban population is getting increase. But on the other hand, cities are not the problem. Cities are the solution. So I like this word mainstreaming biodiversity or by mainstreaming more natural values are where the natural matters most. So 簡単に申し上げますと、バックグラウンドとして、その都市でなぜ自然環境が大事なのかはいろんな人が言われている通りです。身近なところでその自然があることによっていろんな価値が生まれると思います。そのことです。And I think all of you and most of you already know about some keywords from the supporting theories. And firstly, the urban isolated green patches or small park and small green spaces are very important because they have their own functions. And ecological network concept is very important when you think about urban planning theory. So we cannot make a large park at once, right? But instead of that, we can connect the small green patches by networking the kind of small green spaces. We can expect the more ecological functions. And green infrastructure, as Professor Kohsaka introduced, it is very important concept because of the multifunctionality. Mitigation of this kind of thing and works at one place. It's still very important. And by doing that, we can expect a resilient city or the sustainable city. So in Korea, the more than 90% of population in Korea are living in the city. 都市化がすごいひどいです。90% 以上のその人口が都市に住んでいます、韓国では。The Seoul metropolitan areas has more than 50%, about 50% of population of the country. So we would like to tackle all of the environmental issues in the city. That's a very first issue. So that is why we promote the Smart Green City project in these COVID-19 situations. So more than that, the quality and quantity issue is very important. And by comparing with 2006 or 2016 in Seoul area, this one is some indicators are related to the green spaces. So for example, number of parks and number of park area per person looks like some increasing in this last 10 years, but in terms of the quality, not quantity, quality, the first grade is very good. Natural environment is decreasing, and second grade is decreasing. So when we think about the green spaces in the city, we should think about the both quantity and quality. So 都市の緑地のを増えるその計画を考えるときに量的な面だけではなく、その質的な面を考えていかないといけないんですけれども、その質が何なのかというところで、そのバイオダイバーシティもあるんですけれども、クリーンインフラストラクチャーで言っているそのマルティファンクショナリティ、いろんなその市民に与える直接的なその機能がそのクオリティに当てはまると思います。And so next, how can we achieve the smart green city? So I'd like to explain two aspects. One is the planning aspect, the second one is technological aspect. Planning aspect, ecological axis and network concept is very important. So これまではそのエコロジカル生態地区、生態ネットワークというそのを説明するときに、動物の移動とか生き物の移動とかの視点で言ってきたんですけれども、これからはその都市市民、また国民に直接、またその身近なところで優しく、本当に効率的にその生態エコロジカルファンクション、生態系機能を与えるためのその骨だと、一応骨だというその考え方で説得をしています。And second one is very important in Korea because since 2018, all of the cities should and must make their own urban ecological status map. And based on this kind of status map, we can consider this kind of ecological status in the urban planning. 韓国ではすべての都市がその一体個線のスケールでビオトップマップを作ることを2018年から義務化しました。このそのマップに基づいて実際のそのアーバンプランニングにその自然的な価値を反映することになっています。これ非常に大事なんですけれども、これまでのその土地のマップというのは土地利用と地民の本当に人間の利用の視点でマップが作ってきたんですけれども、このマップはそのビオトップマップなんで、自然の価値も考えた上でのそのマップになっています。For example, in the Seoul city, for first grade of the biotope area, we cannot develop the kind of area. So that this map is very important in this planning aspect. And I'd like to move to the technological aspect, as we have already many kinds of green environmental technology. For example, some ecosystem restoration or some water purifying systems or air quality purifying systems, those kind of things. But in the smart green city, we'd like to combine this kind of technologies with the smart innovation technology, big data, GPS, this kind of thing. So by combining those two sections, we'd like to, if we are expecting the smart green new deal effect. So when we think about the technology development, we should think about the cascade model. So what is the cascade model? When we think about some ecological values or ecological benefits in the city, firstly, we should think about how to promote or how to upgrade the ecological structures and structure to the function. So, and by upgrading the ecological structures, we can expect more ecological functions and structure to function and function to the values. So based on this kind of cascade model, we are developing a large project on urban ecosystem enhancement project is ongoing. So monitoring part, assessment part, and conservation and restoration part. So this one is part of our lab's output. So firstly, in the city, we'd like to understand urban ecological structure in the three-dimensionally, and with higher spatial resolution and higher temporal resolution. So at the scale of the whole city and small green park city scale and district scale. And we'd like to go that kind of remote sensing based assessment at the large scale data with some ecological data set. And we'd like to developing more efficient technologies using environmental DNA things. And second part is assessment part. There are several issues: heat stress, intensive rainfall, carbon, air quality, and so on. So we'd like to assess the vulnerability depending on its issues and think about the solution. 韓国の都市でも 最近イノシシとか、シカとかの害が増えていて、最近特にその COVID-19 の以降だと、この生き物とのハーモナイズした共に生きているところに対してすごく人たちは敏感に考えているので、その面でもアーバンバイオダイバーシティの視点ですごく次のチャプターが必要じゃないかなと思っています。時間が大丈夫ですかね。And we'd like to package all of this kind of solution and we'd like to apply this kind of solution at the buildings and habitats and the green areas as well. And this slide is my last slide. And yes, the restoration of the ecological structure and functions is very important. But I think most of the technologies on smart technology and green technology is focused on some monitoring and assessment. But we need the actual solution, right? And that is very hard to find. And so yes. So and the other point is about the governance. So we are working with citizens and diverse stakeholders even in this kind of COVID-19. As you see, all of people are wearing the masks, and by doing that, we are achieving the smart green city. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Son, in two languages. It was a very interesting presentation.